Hello, sweet friends. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I was going through my whimsical creations, and I already laid the page out. I did this little house, bushes. These are stamped images that I take a marker and then I basically do little designs on it. And this is also a stamped image, and as you can see, I do a little design. So I've glued these down. I have a cloud that I made here, but with that said, when I go through my whimsical creations that I have here in the it's like a binder that Beth made for me that holds all my whimsical creations, I noticed that I needed small trees. And the reason why I have this on here is because, and this here is because I was journaling. It's way too private. This journal that I have been working on now, it's been one that I got at a thrift haul. And when this one, it's over, but you see, I still have a few, and I want to make sure, even though sometimes inside of me tells me just get yourself another journal, I want to see the commitment in me to work on this particular one, because like a person that has ADHD, some, and go figure, OCD, I feel that I have the urge to stop working on this and start a new one, but I am pushing myself to finish this one because I just don't want to start something when I still have this much paper left. And so I do have one that I started, but is my bullet journal, and that's different from this. This I write in here. I write things that are in my mind that are bothering me, happy events, sad events, and yeah. So this is basically the journal that I work on. So now, with that said, because I want more trees or small bushes, I grabbed my Master's Touch by Fabriano, the $1.99 watercolor paper that they sell at Hobby Lobby, and I started to design this tree right here with fishtails. So it has, the design is like having fishtails. So the only thing that I want to do is to create the bush that goes like that. And there you go. I have a tree. My challenge was, it's going to be to paint it with the small palette that I obtained, which is this one from Phoenix. So that's gonna be my challenge. I want to see if I can give it some whimsical autumny vibe on this, and then I'll do another one, another tree, and I will also watercolor it. I love watercolor. Watercolor is very, I call it, it has a mind of its own, because the paint goes wherever it wants. It's not where I tell it to go, it's where she wants to go. And to me, that's what makes fascinating. To me, that's fascinating. It makes the art unique, because you won't, with watercolor, you're not gonna find two paintings of the same. Okay, so yes, so this is what I'm gonna be up to. So next thing will be coloring, making it whimsical, fussy cutting it, and then have a number 2 bush, or even more, because I can put it this way. Since this is a 4x6 format, I could do smaller bushes here, so I could do up to 3. But this is kind of nice. I like that. So I'll see you in a little bit. I decided that before I start painting these images, that I would like to just draw how many trees I can fit in this 4x6. I've always emphasized in my channel that I'm never looking for perfection. See these wonky ones? You could take an eraser and change them, but there's no perfect tree out in nature. So why should I draw a perfect tree? So that goes my train of thought on that one. And let's see how many I can actually place here. Bella is silly, laying right next to me. She's looks like a huge puffball because I haven't taken her to the groomers. I should have called her Snowball instead of Bella. So let's see what I want to do here. Okay, that. Remember, these are my whimsical creations. They go in that particular journal that I just showed you. There. So there goes the 3 trees that I'll be painting. So let's start by getting my blue bottle, which means blue bottle means water. Red bottle means 91% alcohol. And I will wet my image. And I will also spray my palette. I'm also gonna wet this one. I don't recall who was the one that said it, but they mentioned that wetting the palette or wetting your paper before you paint helps it absorb the water, and so it's easier to help you move the water, the watercolor paint better. So it will curl up, but trust me, this is gonna go back to being flat again. So I don't have any worries with that. I picked a number 3 round brush. And so let's do the trunk first. Now, if I did this right, we are going to use the colors. Let's see. I think that I'm gonna have to use this one because I don't know where the other one ended up going. All right. I want fall like trees. So autumn vibes, let's put it that way. So I'm gonna use Van Dyke Brown to do the tree trunk. So let's start with that. I hope you're all doing well. I have been physically okay, I guess, despite the constant pain. But to me, painting is relaxing, and I am no artist. That's my main disclaimer here. But I try to find a crafty moment any chance I can get it, you know? But the headaches have been bothering me. One thing that I did notice, I want to change the subject here. My doctor wanted me to get a record of my eyesight, because since I'm being diabetic, they have to make sure that my eyesight hasn't worsened. Yes. With that said, something did happen. My husband took me to get the records, and their office are closed, and then they don't pick up the phone when you call them. And when I was at the pharmacy, and the pharmacy of a girl, her name is Nicole, very sweet girl. She's always, hey mommy, how you doing? You know, she's really cheerful and all that stuff. And I said, I know you probably don't have an idea, but do you know what's going on with the eyesight place here in the corner? And I told her the name and everything, and she goes like, girl, I don't know, but my mother needed the record, and I have been having a difficult time trying to get them on the phone, and they haven't even answered my calls, and I've been calling since the summer. So I don't know if this particular place shut down. And they didn't even have the courtesy to say, oh yeah, we're out of business, or, you know, God forbid something happened to the doctor. Very young, handsome young man that used to take care of my eyesight. Even though I have to say, the people that worked for him, they were cuckoo, man. They didn't do their job right. And I don't know if that messed up with his reputation as a, you know, optometrist. So I don't know. I'll be honest. It was really close, 5 minutes away from my house. And it's very convenient just to have your doctors and everything extremely close from your place. Yeah, but that's the scoop on that. So I don't know what's gonna happen now with my record, my eyesight record. I might have to go to a different doctor now. Okay, so I started with light apricot, which is this one, light apricot, because I am going to incorporate a little bit here and there of these darker ones to make it into the fall colors that I really want to show. I have a cup of coffee. This is the second one of the day. I normally only have 2 during the daytime, but I felt like the first one just went straight to my system, and I didn't feel, you know, even though I take decaf. I told my husband, my goodness, I don't know, I feel like I didn't have any coffee. He said, but you did. I said, but I feel like I didn't. So I made myself another cup of coffee. So I might end up with 3 cups of coffee. Lord have mercy, tongue twister on that one. 3 cups of coffee. There you go. Okay, so now I'm gonna do wet on wet. So I'm gonna move to the peach and just give it a little bit of little splashes here and there. Wet on wet. Just little splashes here and there. My husband is cooking today. That way I have time to do this video for you guys, and then I can also play, which makes me really happy. Now I'm going to use wet on wet. I'm going to do pale terracotta. These colors are cute. They are actually standing out. There, wet on wet. Little splashes of wet. Basically, the color that I'm giving here, it's basically like mimicking the leaves that change colors. And kind of like that. Now I'm going to use the quinacridone tongue twisted color gold. I don't know. I'm not too happy about that color when it comes to the faces. Ooh, but I kind of like what it's doing here on the wet. Ooh, that's nice. Yes, see? You might not like it for skin tone, but it is pretty when it comes to fall. Look at that. That's pretty. I love it. Muy bonito, muy bonito. So I'm doing now, I'm still wet on wet, okay? Raw sienna. I have to find the empty spaces to add this little bit of color in there. I like it so far. I like what's happening here with the paint, you know? I do. Muy bonito, muy bonito. So pretty. Well, my youngest daughter set the date for her wedding. And as a mama, my heart is overjoyed. She's getting married at the beginning of next year. Her fiance is like a son to me. So that makes me even more happier. I really pray that my children find good men and women in their lives, and they're happy. February is gonna be 41 years of marriage for me and my honey. Ooh, I like it. I don't know if y'all see it, but these colors right here, yellow, autumn, they just, oh, they're so darn cute. Yes, indeed. Ooh, and I'm running out of space to keep on adding it. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh. Light umber. A light umber. I did that one. Don't want to do a lot. Now I'm going to do a little bit of Indian red. S319 Indian red. So this is very simple, as you can see. This is not something that is complicated. I am not making leaves. I am just dabbing the color here and there, and basically this is making the tree look like all the leaves have changed color, like all of them. Me gusta. I don't want to use the sepia on this one because I want to add a little bit of that sepia to the trunk. Now I don't mind if the color is running, so it's okay. I don't panic. If you don't like it, just an example, a little piece of paper towel, and then just grab it with a paper towel. See? It's no biggie. See that? But I do love the fact that even though it's for skin tone, Carmen is using it for autumn vibe. And that makes me happy. So right now I have to do mid brown, which is like a little bit of the, like a mustardy darker color. This one here in between. Just a touch of the mid brown. Guys, I was listening to Christmas music. Can you believe that? I don't know. Do you do the same thing? Do you already in November start listening to Christmas music? Because I know I was. Let it snow. Well, talking about snow, next week is going to be in the 30s here in Florida. So, I know I was going to say it's going to get cold. Really cold. Okay, so now I'm going to put a little bit of the sepia here. And I'm not going to actually paint in it. I'm just going to use it to create some visual lines as far as the texture goes for a tree. And I'm not being careful. I'm just wiggling, wiggle the brush. And then have to let it dry. Put a little bit of water. And you'll see some lines, but you're gonna see that it's kind of fading it, which is okay with me. But it adds a little detail to the tree without me being too specific of what I want to see. If you want to ever pick up the color, just dry your brush out. First clean it, okay? And then kind of dry your brush out as much as you can. And then just pick up just like that. You could use paper towel and do it again. You always want to pick up, but I'm happy with the trunk, the way the trunk looks. And if that doesn't scream autumn vibe, autumn to you, I don't know what will. So I'm just gonna set this baby aside, and I'm gonna color these. Here again, I'm gonna be using this time around mid brown for the trunks. And then you know that I already have wet these, so it don't have to be this one. It's just gonna be Now don't worry about the color moving around. It's just a little bit here at the bottom. There you go. That's it. Just a little bit. And a little bit here. Now we have to wait for it to dry. And then I'll be back and I'll show you the end result. Okay, I dried it with the heat gun. But this is still not done. I dried it there because I don't have all day for me to wait for it to dry. So now I'm going to put my colors on this one, and then I'll be working on this. You know, you jump from one project to the other. Still loving the colors. And I'm not worried about this color spreading to the leaves because it's still going to be autumn vibe coloring, just like this one. So now I am going to use the sepia, and I'm just gonna do little traces here and there. This one is dry. This is not wet on wet, okay? And if you hear chomping, Bella stole from Junie B a treat. And yes, you know how that goes. Jump away. So I'm gonna use the sepia to just give it a little bit of different texture. So on this one, I think I'm just gonna use the Van Dyke brown. Let me see how that will look. Oh yeah, that's kind of nice. Some blends with the color. That's cool, that's cool. I can handle that. Okay. So set this baby aside. Bring this baby over. I have my Ohuhu fine line drawing pen. This one is number 0.3. And I am just gonna go over my pencils sketching of the tree with this one. And remember, you don't have to be exact. Okie dokie. So, like I said, my hubby is cooking, and while this was trying to dry on its own, I got up and I picked up a heavy load of laundry. And all of a sudden I had this split headache. And now I feel like it's not just any headache. It's the one that comes from my neck where the vertebrae are messed up. See how the tree, the form of the tree that I'm trying to give it stands out with the black? The shape takes place instead of the pencil because just the pencil is just the sketching purposes. And I'm not following this to the T, so it's like you'll see some edges are not exact. So there's the puddle where the water was at right here. I am just going to do something, you know how some trees has some circles on them, like a knot, some sort of knot there. And I'll continue to shape it there. There you go. So the next thing would be to take the eraser and then just take out any pencil drawing that I made. I have to erase it. That's why to me it doesn't really matter if I go out of, you know, the pencil design, because the eraser is just gonna take it out. So now you have a glimpse of how I do my watercolor creations. And I'm always emphasize that I'm not an artist, okay? So that means, that said, if I did this, you can do it. See? How simple is that? And I place these because that's the type of journal that I have. I place these creations that I've made for me, I place them in my journal. The one that has all the feelings, issues, joy, sadness, angry moments. I have to breathe to say that one. Yes. Then the next thing is to cut it out. Okay, so I'm cutting this baby out. I'm going based on the design that I created myself. And this moment here, it's the moment that I cherish the most. Being with you, being able to create something, because it gives me the opportunity of dropping everything that I'm doing or that I have to do during the daytime, just to take this moment to record this video, but to be able to craft. Because yeah, crafting for me is for my mental health. This is the moment that my mind strays away from whatever is bothering me, because I have to concentrate, I have to focus, and then I'm not focused anymore on my issues, my pains, my emotional, well-being at the moment. If I wasn't doing this with you guys, I would be in bed, moping, upset, maybe angry. Okay, there you go. That is one of my whimsical trees. Am I done? No, 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 no. I'm not done. Who said I was done? I always take my vintage photo and I ink the edges. So now you saw how I did this big one. I'm gonna do the smaller ones out of the camera. Okay. And then I'll be back and then I'll show you how it looks, how they all will look once I'm done. But this gave me the opportunity of not only trying a new palette, but to play with watercolors, because I love watercolors. I do. It's my favorite one. You can create beautiful things and you don't have to be an artist. Let's put it that way. You can just think about it as a playful moment, having fun. Yes, I'm taking my time to learn how to sketch, but those are another $20. Esos son otros 20 pesos. Now here, I will be doing the same thing on these, on all of them. The same thing, going with the lighter tone and then adding the different tones and then doing little splotches here and there. All right? And then I should return with the final results. Okay, my sweet friends, I am done. So let's do a little recap. I used Phoenix skin colors or skin tones. Okay, that's the new little palette that I got, and I wanted to do some fall autumn trees, and that palette works very well, as you can see, for fall. Yes, it says skin colors, but you know what? Who tells you that you cannot do something completely different with that palette? And as you can see, this is the perfect palette for doing fall colors. Autumn vibes. I call them my autumn vibes. So yes, that can be considered an autumn vibe palette. So off camera, I did my ohuhu on the small trees. The number was a 0.3 to trace around where I had the pencil. I erased the pencil marking that I had done, and the hearts, I also did the hearts with the ohuhu fine liner drawing pen, and the color that I used for the hearts was Indian red, and I painted them on dry. So I did the same method that I used for the big tree, which is wet on wet, but the hearts, I did them on dry. I waited for the tree to dry, and then I did it very carefully. And as you can see, I am really happy with these. I can use this for my next month page. And these will be stored in that binder or journal, storage journal that Beth from Happy Place Crafting, my friend, hello love, she did for me. Yes, my sweet Beth. So yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to share. I will link to this video another video for Whimsical Creations. I also have a playlist if you want to see any more of the whimsical creations or ideas that I have come up with. You can follow the playlist. Okay, my friends? So that's it for today. I hope you liked the video, and if you do, please give me a like, subscribe, leave me a comment, and don't forget that hit that notification bell that will let you know when I upload new videos. And as always, stay safe and craft away. Bye, my friends. Love you all.